Hello and welcome to Nationwide today on the network service of the NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Thank you so much for joining us. Now let's begin with industrialization. President Muhammad Buhari has inaugurated the Linyi Industrial Hub, an initiative by Governor Rotimi Akeredolu after the signing of an MOU between Linyi City in China and Ondo State government. It is part of the efforts by the Ondo State government to complement federal government's drive to generate employment and create wealth. The industrial hub will provide entrepreneurs, especially small and medium-scale businesses, the ease to produce, process and add value in production of cassava to ethanol, textiles and wood processing, among others. The hub is also to build capacity of more than 120,000 employment expected to be generated.
I am confident through this project, based here, will utilize locally available raw materials to create jobs for young men and women in this locality, increase knowledge and capacity, and support our import substitution policies.
One of the most important things happening in the state today, in a time, is industrialization.
President Buhari also during the visit inaugurated Ora Interchange Bridge, a massive infrastructure project to ease traffic in the Sunshine City. And out to the judiciary, the Federal High Court has sentenced the former PDP spokesman Olusametu to 7 years imprisonment and to refund 375 million to the government. The EFCC had accused him of receiving 400 million naira from the former National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, the money believed to be part of the $2.1 billion meant for arms procurement, but which allegedly was diverted by Mr. Dasuki. On the 7-count amended charge against Olusametu and his company Destra Investments, the court presided over by Okon Abang held that there was no documentary evidence that former President Goodluck Jonathan authorized the former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki to transfer the money to Metu. The court further held that Metu ought to have known the source was illicit and said his argument that it was for security purposes was not supported by facts. The court observed that transfers from the 400 million in Metu's bank account to various political functionaries were also proof that the money was used for the PDP's political activities in 2015, as well for Metu's personal use. The court also found him guilty of destroying his written statement before the EFCC. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has signed a memorandum of understanding with Ahmadu Bello University Zaria to make the EFCC Academy an affiliate of the university in order to improve the operational capacity of the commission to tackle corruption in the country.
With these signatures and warm handshakes, EFCC Academy and ABU Zaria are now Siemens twins. This partnership will now see the EFCC Academy to run certificate, diploma and postgraduate program in courses such as forensic accounting, digital forensic, forensic science, law enforcement and criminal justice administration. This is aimed at improving the fight against corruption by ensuring that the menace of corrupt practices are inculcated into younger generation to rid the country of the vice
The Ahmadu University is going to award the degrees, but in conjunction with the EFCC Academy.
This is very, very important. We also want to collaborate. Collaboration is the main thing. We want to collaborate with everybody so that less people even accept that corruption is wrong. So it's very, very necessary. Educating the people, sensitizing, creating awareness, making people feel responsible in the fight against corruption.
Abuja is the second university to enter into partnership with EFCC after University of Abuja.
Now to activities on the floor of the National Assembly. The Senate has urged the Chief of Army Staff to establish a military command base in Gakida community in Adamawa State, attacked by gunmen last week. This followed a motion of urgent public importance moved by Senator Aishatu Dahiru, which also stressed the need for the establishment of the military base in all communities bordering the Sambisa forest. The motion called on the North-East Development Commission to immediately commence rehabilitation and reconstruction of structures destroyed, while the National Emergency Management Agency should immediately assess the extent of damage and provide relief materials to those affected. The legislators, through a motion by Senator Teslim Folarin, urged the Nigerian Police, the Federal Road Safety Commission and vehicle inspection officers to immediately clamp down on trucks and articulated lorries without the minimum prescribed levels of lighting and other road safety requirements. The Senate has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to reconstitute the Federal Character Commission, as the Act did not provide for an acting chairman or sole administrator. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill seeking immunity for presiding officers of legislative houses. The bill, sponsored by Representative Olusegun Odebomi, calls for alteration of Section 308 of the Constitution to enable extension of immunity to presiding officers of the National and State Assemblies. House members adopted a motion calling the provision of adequate security in Gakida of Adamawa State, which was attacked by Boko Haram insurgents over the weekend, as moved by Representative Yusuf Buba, and the motion from Representative Osai Nicholas on the need to deploy security personnel to areas of Delta State facing headman attacks. The lawmakers also urged the federal government to appoint commissioners for the Federal Character Commission for the 36 states and Abuja. Federal roads across the country will henceforth be maintained as and when due with greater efficiency. This was made known when the House of Representatives Committee on FEMA paid an oversight visit to the agency in Abuja with a commitment to provide more funding. Victor Azu reports.
House committee members on FEMA arrived the agency on oversight, eager to clear their doubts on grey areas regarding federal roads maintenance across the country. As the managing director of FEMA joins them in the room, closely followed by chairman of the committee, Femi Bamishile, he brings them up to speed on some of the handicaps of the agency, chiefly paucity of funds.
Out of an overhead budget of 14.984 billion, amount released for 2019 from 2019 overhead budget was 9.572 billion. Amount spent was 9.515 billion, and the balance that was not released from the 2019 overhead budget was 5.411 billion.
After an interactive session with the managing director, the members seem to agree that FEMA is in dire need of improved funding if the road network will meet the aspiration of Nigerians.
In times past, FEMA gets as little as 29 billion, 21 billion, 30-something billion. There was an additional fund this year when we all went out to cry that the funds coming into FEMA won't do justice to our bad roads, the level the roads are in Nigeria. But it's not just about the funds that are put in FEMA. It's about releases, and that's exactly what we're talking about here.
The members then resolved to visit some FEMA projects within the FCT. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Time now to link up with Hingino in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Hingino.
Hello, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining us in Lagos. criminality on the Nigerian waterways and the Gulf of Guinea has been a focal point of national security as it houses critical assets and serves as a gateway to economic development. Nigeria is therefore strengthening its fight with the Deep Blue project, under which several vessels have been acquired in anticipation of its full operation. Dotun Oguyemi reports.
In 2019, there were 35 actual and attempted piracy attacks in Nigeria, a figure lesser than 48 recorded in 2018, according to Statista. The International Maritime Bureau also reveals that the waters off the Nigerian coast experienced the highest number of piracy attacks globally in 2019. Challenged to reduce this figure, the Deep Blue project was conceived to enhance surveillance, better secure, and boost maritime trade. The acquisition of 2 special mission vessels, DB Abuja and DB Lagos, are part of the solution. Several intervention platforms, including land, air, and maritime assets, are to be acquired.
In the entire deployment, we are going to have 17 fast intervention vessels. We're going to have helicopters, 2 helicopters, special purpose. We're going to even have UAV, that the one you call drones, in this. So the build up, we are gradually assembling, the necessary assets.
Definitely it's going to add value, to the existing security architecture and the maritime domain.
Both vessels and other critical assets still being expected will go a long way in assisting maritime security agencies to ensure security of the nation's waterways up till the Gulf of Guinea, and also harness the blue economy for national development. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
Away from maritime security, an EFCC investigator, Shehu Shuaibu, has told the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos his findings on the inflow of millions of naira into the account of the former Minister of Aviation, Femi Fani-Kayode, while serving in that capacity. Femi Fani-Kayode is facing 4.6 billion naira money laundering charge brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Abolore Agbara reports.
Femi Fani-Kayode is standing trial in connection with the funding of the re-election bid of former President Goodluck Jonathan in 2015. He's been prosecuted alongside a former Minister of State for Finance, Nenadi Usman, Danjuma Yusuf, and a company, Joint Trust Dimensions Limited, are the proceedings before Justice Rilwan Aikawa. The EFCC investigator revealed his findings that a huge inflow of money from the Ministries of External and Foreign Affairs was linked to the account of Joint Trust Dimensions Limited sometime in 2015. The investigator said there was no trace of any contracts between the External Affairs Ministry and the firm to warrant the payment of the money. The 4 defendants were accused of retaining 300 million naira, 400 million naira, and 800 million naira, all proceeds of corruption according to EFCC. Defense counsel Ferdinand Obi told the court that the account was not opened to loot public fund, but for the purpose of donation for the 2015 general elections campaigns. Justice Aikawa adjourned further hearing till tomorrow. In Lagos, Abolore Agbara, NTA News.
The Lagos State House of Assembly is seeking for an amendment of its Neighborhood Safety Corps Agency Law 2019 in a bid to incorporate the Amotekun Corps into the agency. And as a prelude to actualizing this, a public hearing has been held where key players added their voices to the amendment. Jessiton Moses reports.
Stakeholders, including the Yoruba traditional security leader, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò, Ìbà Gani Adams, commended the initiative of the lawmakers to expedite actions on passage of the bill. Robust public contributions, they noted, will give the law a good footing to achieve the aim of protecting life and property in the state.
Having these stakeholder meetings, that every stakeholder will drop their memorandum on the inclusion of the process of the bill. At the end of the day, we have one of the best law for Amotekun in Southwest.
Speaker Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, stressed that the proposed law will operate in harmony with the constitution of the country.
Our challenges here in Lagos is quite different from other states in this part of the country. And in that wisdom, we are going to look at this bill and make sure we do justice.
Sections 1, 3, 4, 14 and 17 of the Lagos Neighborhood Safety Corps Agency law are being amended, while a new section 36 is being inserted to give legal backing to the establishment of Amotekun Corps in the state. In Lagos, Jesuton Moses, NTA News.
That report ends. Our contribution from Lagos Nationwide continues with Elizabeth in Abuja after this break.
Thanks for staying with us. Now let's talk security. The ideas of criminals and ways of committing crimes are changing, and Nigeria cannot be left behind, as laws have to be reformed to take into consideration emerging crimes and new ways of committing crimes. To put things in place, Nigeria Law Reforms Commission has gathered stakeholders for validation of reports and reforms of criminal penal codes. Omenka Amarachuku reports.
Seated here are stakeholders to deliberate on issues of law reforms and provide solutions and make recommendations for the effective implementation of the unification and reforms of criminal code laws of the Federation. There is no doubt that reforms of this sort are long overdue, while others are no longer adequate in view of the changing circumstances of life and technological advancement necessitated this gathering.
All of the laws, most of them have issues that we need to sit and look at them again and think the way forward to unify the country and to make it acceptable in our own terms now.
We'll look at those areas that have been having issues, the conflicting areas, and able to strengthen it. I think this is the best thing and one of the things that we need to do for the betterment of this country.
The recommendation of this sort will be presented to the National Assembly for legislative action. In Abuja, Umenka Majuku, NTA News.
And still on security, the Nigerian Air Force says the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has destroyed some Boko Haram terrorist structures and logistics facilities at Gani, Maluma and Paruso in Sambisa Forest General Area of Borno State. In a statement by NAF Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, the airstrikes were executed on 23rd and 24th of February 2020 as part of the ongoing Operation Rattlesnake 3, based on credible intelligence reports indicating that elements of the BHTS that carried out the attack on Gatkida in Adamawa State originated from camps within the Sambisa Forest. Consequently, the ATF dispatched its attack aircraft to both locations, destroying several structures housing the terrorists, as well as some of the logistics stores, which were seen engulfed in flames. The NAF, operating in concert with surface forces, will sustain its air campaign to shape the battle space in the northeast. In its resolve to ensure unity of purpose of party and reclaim its mandate come 2023, the All Progressives Congress APC in Adamawa State has organized a rescue foundation to deliberate on how to find modalities to restore the lost glory of the party in the state. Simon Asher reports that the deliberation is aimed at reconciling aggrieved members of the party.
Adamawa State, which before now used to be an APC-led government, lost its seat of power in the 2019 general elections, thereby ushering in PDP government in the state.
Adamawa State leader APC.
But crisis within the party and lack of unity of purpose, among others, on the set objectives of the party are some of the reasons that stood to be counted in the defeat of the party at the polls. Hence, this rescue foundation deliberation of the party ESCO and stakeholders within the 21 local government areas of the state to right the wrongs of the past and fine-tune modalities on how the party can take its rightful place in the political arena of the state in future elections.
That is why I say, let's come and rescue APC.
after the general election in 2019, we were unable to come together to review our position as to really what happens in the past, in the processes that lead to our defeat.
We have to manage the crisis in such a way that we can build confidence to our teaming electorate.
This gathering is sending a signal for unity of purpose.
We in APC ourselves, and I believe that is going to be done because I see big piece of APC have attended this meeting.
At the end of the deliberations, participants are enshrined to carry the message to their various local government areas to enhance cohesion and unity of the party. In Yola, Simon Asher, NTA News.
And Musa is standing by with some reports for us from Sokoto and its environs. Hello, Musa.
Welcome to Sokoto. The federal government has flagged off the presidential artisanal gold mining initiative and biometric data capture enrollment exercise in Yawuri, town of Kebbi State, aimed at addressing the challenges of illegal mining in the country. The Minister of Solid Minerals and Steel Development said the initiative is a giant step towards improving Nigeria's economic growth. Osman Abdullahi Shehu has more.
It is a clear fact that Nigeria is blessed with several natural resources, among which gold is tapped locally and illegally in many places across the country. In Yawuri town, the headquarters of Yawuri local government area of Kebbi State, the Presidential Artisanal Gold Mining Initiative was launched by the Minister of Solid Minerals and Steel Development, Mr. Olamilekan Adegbite, represented by a director at the Ministry of Solid Minerals and Steel Development, Mr. Patrick Ezeka.
Apart from empowering the artisans and small-scale miners in Kebbi State, it will also encourage and promote Nigerian mineral processing and value-addition industries that strengthen backward and forward linkages and enhance financial capacity in the mining sector.
So we want them to be good ambassadors, organize themselves, make proper use of whatever assistance is going to come their way.
This program will bring benefits for financial inclusion, for value addition, and for job creation.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, described the initiatives as an antidote to illegal mining in the country. Highlights of the event was a visit to a mining site at Birnin Yawuri. The pilot program of the initiative take off in Kebbi and Osun states. In Yawuri, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Sokoto State government says it will continue to implement programs that will promote business activities in the state. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal stated this while disbursing 1 billion naira interest-free loan facilities to small-scale businesses in the state. Dalhat Abdullahi reports.
Business and the capital are inseparable as lack of capital remain the greatest challenge for business operation in any society. Business of any type requires certain amount to run depending on its status. Making easy access to financial services can enhance business activities, especially small-scale entrepreneurs, to further better wealth creation among the people. The decision of Sokoto State government to disburse 1 billion naira interest-free loan to small business operators is expected to boost commercial activities in the state.
We'll continue to implement timely and useful interventions to boost more earnings to business ventures, create additional jobs, thereby stimulating economic activity in our dear state.
About 5,000 people are expected to benefit from the loan facility, with 30% targeted to women.
His Eminence is calling on the government to increase the percentage for business women.
Let me use this opportunity to call on beneficiaries to please make judicious use of these loans so that you'll be able to repay this loan and other people will benefit in the future.
The beneficiaries are drawn from across the 23 local government areas of the state, and the facility is to be paid in 2 years. In Sokoto, Dalat Abdullahi, NTA News.
Well, that's our contribution from Sokoto. NationWide continues after the break.
Glad to know you're still there. Now to felicitations. President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with top banker and stalwart of the All Progressives Congress, Mark Wabara, as he turns 69 on February 26. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Additional, President Buhari salutes the Abia State-born insurance and banking expert who grew up in Yoruba land, schooled in Sokoto and at the University of Lagos, thus making him a well-rounded Nigerian. President Buhari wishes Wabara many more years of greater service to his community, state and motherland, extending congratulations to his family, friends and associates on this auspicious occasion. Still on celebrations, our celebration with a difference as friends and religious leaders rolled out its drums to honor John Cardinal Onaikan at 76. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports that the celebration is coming 2 months after the Cardinal bowed out as the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja.
An evening to celebrate a man of excellence who has been in the Lord's vineyard for more than 50 years. Yes, the man of the moment, John Cardinal Onaikan, who turned 76 on the 29th of January this year. The celebrant, John Cardinal Onaikan, rose through the spiritual ranks. Ordained as a priest in August 1969, subsequently consecrated on the 6th of January 1983 by late Pope John Paul II and was anointed as cardinal by Pope Benedict XVI.
If you look at his birth up to how he went through the university, he always set records. Not only from a small place called Alede where I went to school, up to seminary in Ibadan where he major seminary, and in Rome. His record is still unbeaten. And he has demonstrated forthrightness in addressing some of the issues that come up. But above all, what endeared me to be part of this celebration is his love for peace.
The Baba that is marking his 76th birthday has been a symbol of peace. He has been a symbol of unity. He has been a symbol of Abrahamic life.
He is not only a spiritual father, he is also a social critic. And apart from being a social critic, he's an academician. He can analyze contemporary issues, not minding whose ox is God. If I'm in good health of mind and body, I will just continue as before, serving God, doing the three things for which bishops are ordained, namely, to teach, to sanctify, and to guide.
The life of the cardinal is centered on the will of God, as his motto is, "Let thy will be done," which he enjoyed in retirement. In Abuja, Ikechukwu Ndukwe, NTA News.
And in other news, the National Assembly is working on its bureaucrats with a view to improve the quality of legislative activities in the country. To this end, a training program has been organized for committee clerks on the National Assembly by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies.
Some of the activities of any legislative house include oversights, public and investigative hearings, among others. These activities are recorded by committee clerks and tabled before the legislature for consideration. However, experience has shown that reporting of committee activities face some challenges due to poor reporting, delays and non-standardization. Hence, this training for clerks of the various committees of the National Assembly.
The Institute has over the years developed useful guidelines and templates on how to report various committee activities. Clerks will be exposed to these materials, which will assist them in preparing and standardizing their reports.
There is need for us to arise to the task to our task and schedule in order to move this country forward.
Experts are of the view that poor committee reports affect legislative work.
Now, if you combine the totality of activities carried out by committees
They will be spread across to reflect the general mandate vested in the National Assembly to make laws for the Federation.
Dr. Asime Neida George of the U.S. Embassy, who dwelt on the voting rights, advised Nigerians to use their votes to positively change the society.
Voting rights matter. Access to the ballot matters. And once you have it, you cannot just live on easy streets. You've got to fight to protect it.
The 3-day program is expected to improve in standardizing legislative reports and record-keeping in parliaments, among others.
To disaster management now, a national action plan for the coordination of disaster management is underway as the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development engages stakeholders to strengthen Nigeria's capacity for effective disaster management. Ruth Aguela reports that this was at a 2-day stakeholders meeting in Abuja to meet the set objectives.
Disaster is not anything anyone envisages, but it is inevitable. Nigeria is said to be among countries at risk of crisis and disaster, a situation that has raised a lot of concerns on the part of the federal government. Consequently, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is adopting a strategic approach by engaging stakeholders for a collaborative framework that will strengthen the capacity of the country to effectively manage disaster risk.
Disasters and their potential for large-scale devastation have to be managed as a matter of urgency. Achieving success in the management of disasters in Nigeria requires proper planning and multi-sectoral approach.
This singular effort, I am sure, will strengthen our activities in search of solutions to all challenges inherent of disaster management.
As such, there is great opportunity to build stronger integrated mechanisms to reduce the risks and enhance preparedness to disasters. We can only achieve this if we work jointly, using the various strengths that different partners bring to the table.
A common understanding is expected to be reached at the end of the 2-day summit to inculcate the global best practice. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NT News.
Thank you, Ruth. Now to housing and technology. A Niger-based construction firm is introducing Russian technology in addressing housing deficit in the country. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that this is coming at a time the federal government is making huge budgetary provision for the housing sector.
The spate of huge deficit of more than 70 million in the housing sector, as established by the United Nations and World Bank, is getting key players worried on how to minimize the figure before the year 2030. The latest innovation by Russian Affordable Housing Delivery System, in collaboration with Bytech Construction and Energetic Limited, is yielding implementable agreements for Nigerians to own houses through alternative building resources.
Today, to the glory of God, one of the most enduring, cost-effective building technologies in the world is being introduced to Nigeria. It is a Russian housing development technology and system that has provided high quality and affordable housing to millions of people in several countries of the world, especially in Russia, CIS countries, in Asia, Latin America, and even here in Africa.
Мы представляем традиционные российские и новые российские технологии.
It's rather new technology. So we are bringing here not old technologies. It's a modern and new technology, which already been experienced in Russia for 10 years.
Federal and state governments are at the center of the new partnership on land and other critical support, crucial for the delivery of affordable and decent houses to citizens. The new technology will be engaging locals in the areas of labor and sustained government goodwill of encouraging investors in the housing sector. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
To trade and economic matters, the meeting of key players in the private and public sectors concerning the successful implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement has risen with a 4-page communique to redirect federal government's focus on implementation strategy. Chimobi Walter Naji was at the meeting and now reports.
following Nigeria's refusal to sign the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement in 2018 and the subsequent signing by President Buhari in 2019 after a series of consultations with relevant key players. The Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations have since been engaging stakeholders in both public and private sector to ensure Nigeria makes the best out of the agreement.
In trade negotiation, there is no great, there is no small.
This is one of such engagements. As the implementation of the AFCFTA is 5 months away, this gathering of concerned government and non-government agencies are focusing on the 5 key sectors for Nigeria, which include financial, communication, transport, tourism, business, and professional services.
The final outcome will be presented at the ECOWAS for harmonization, so that we're able to have a list on trade and services that we'll send to the AFCFTA, that is to AU, for the AFCFTA negotiations.
So it is good now that the Office of the Trade Negotiation has taken the challenge. First, they've moved around the country to take the views of all the stakeholders, so now can we maximize our benefits?
So it is very crucial that we follow the debate. How do we make sure that our representatives, the respective legislative houses, both at the national and the states, are tapped into this?
This meeting further seeks to address the challenges that may arise from the implementation of the AFCFTA in ensuring government policies and rules are followed to the letter and avoid issues of dumping in the country. In Abuja, I'm Chimubi Walter Naji, NTA News.
Now let's shift our attention to research findings, infrastructure deficit, funding and disconnect between research institutions and industries are some of the major challenges militating against commercialization of research findings in Nigeria. Experts on NC's Good Morning Nigeria stated this while discussing the topic, commercialization of research findings. Ekemini Williams has details.
Federal government's renewed commitment to achieving a knowledge-driven economy through scientific innovations and commercialization of research findings has been applauded. However, experts say there are pertinent factors that must be addressed to achieve results.
NIPRID did a groundbreaking study here in Abuja a few years ago where we sampled veterinary products and we found evidence of bacteria, that had antimicrobial resistance. And we also found evidence of heavy metals. And we wrote, we've tried to engage, and we've looked for partners.
The research works are not available for where the investors can see it.
We must have to devise means of bringing the private sector and the industries and the academia together.
Discussants say actors in commerce go for what gives profit. Therefore, researchers must conduct a need assessment before carrying out a research.
There is a new cowpea breed that has been breeded by my university, IR, that was sponsored by ARTF. We can now have a product in the hand we can export that can meet international standards. Because of what I want to call intellectual silos, everybody wants to keep his own product at his breast so that another person will not come and steal the shine.
They also suggest incentives for people to go into manufacturing, as this will provide more platforms for utilization of research findings.
Until any product that we produce locally will be able to manufacture machines that will guarantee mass productions. And to make this possible, you need machine tools, you need the industries where you will give them specifications.
Director General, National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, NOTAP, advises researchers to take steps towards protecting their intellectual assets before putting them out in public space. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
If you just joined us, this is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's now join Chinenye in our Enugu studio for more reports. Hello, Chinenye.
Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you and welcome to Enugu. Soccer has come the way of 2017 victims of communal war between Izi people in the Abakaliki Council area of Ebonyi State and a neighboring community in Cross River State. Ifeoma Godwin reports that officials of National Emergency Management Agency and the coordinating office also took a joint assessment of the recent Biri Market fire disaster.
Mrs. Cecilia Iboke, whose husband was killed and has burnt during the crisis, represents others who shared the same fate with her, noted that life has been unbearable.
Cross River did in our community, of which we suffer. And I appreciate what we are doing today.
Most of us are widows, most of us are disabled, and this type of thing came to their way.
This intervention, which is second in its series, became necessary after a joint assessment in 2017. Representatives of the zonal coordinator NEMA Southeast Zone, Enugu, and officials of the state coordinating agency also took a joint assessment of the recent Biri Market fire disaster to sympathize with the traders.
Everybody here has just their standard.
I've observed that the fire outbreak has consumed a lot of buildings.
This fire has occurred and their properties are damaged, and we believe that both states and federal government as usual will respond to the plight of these disaster-affected persons.
Ebonyi has recorded over 20 cases of fire outbreaks in parts of the state between January to date. From Abakaliki, Ifeoma Godwin Wafo, NTA News.
A free medical outreach organized by the wife of the Enugu State Governor, Mrs. Monica Ugwanyi, through her pet project, Udgo Touch of Life Foundation, is aimed at giving the needy access to quality health clinic. Mrs. Ugwanyi, who stated this while flagging off the outreach, organized in collaboration with a foreign faith-based organization, urged residents of Enugu to take full advantage of the outreach. Susan Eze has details.
The exercise taking place at the Enugu State University Teaching Hospital, Parkland, is designed to address any form of health challenge, particularly for the indigent patients who cannot afford medical bills. Mrs. Ugwanyi noted that bringing succor to the needy is a social responsibility, and her pet project, Udgo Touch of Life Foundation, is committed to this worthy cause. The team, led by Dr. Peter Schnaz, also expressed their passion for rendering free medical services to the less privileged, hence the partnership with Mrs. Ugwanyi in this free medical mission. Both benefactors urged the public to take advantage of the free medical outreach. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And the wife of Abia State Governor Nkechi Ikpeazu has flagged off the first phase of the Abia State Skills Acquisition Program for the year 2020. The program, which will span several years, is designed to alleviate poverty, create employment opportunities and wealth for Abia youths and women. Chinyere Okoli now reports.
Mrs. Ikpeazu, represented by the wife of the Deputy Governor, Vivian Udeokochukwu, stressed the importance of skills as thousands of Nigerians graduates are thrown into the unemployment market. She also reminded participants that oftentimes salaries may be inadequate to make ends meet. She further encouraged those that feel limited as a result of not having university education to embrace entrepreneurship and artisanship to change their lives and that of their dependents. The governor's wife urged participants to take the program seriously and assured them of intensive training with extensive curriculum that will develop their skills and enhance their ability to market what they have learned. She thanked the governor, Dr. Okezi Ikpeazu, for his positive impact in improving the economy of the state by making available such wonderful program through the Ministry of Women Affairs. The Commissioner for Women Affairs, Mrs. Okachi Amala, applauded Mrs. Nkechi Ikpeazu for her unrelenting efforts in ensuring that Abia women are given a face in a world where women are confronted with so many gender-based challenges. She recalled that Mrs. Ikpeazu has been on the forefront of women empowerment using her Vika Hope Foundation to empower over 600 Abians across the 17 local government areas of the state. In Umuahia, Chinyere Okoli, NTA News.
And that is it from Enugu. Elizabeth is back to you in Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Thank you so much, Chinenye. Now, report just reached us says 6,110 Edo State citizens are now beneficiaries of the 900 million naira worth of the federal government's empowerment scheme. The program, which was flagged off in Benin City, is to enable those at the grassroots have direct contact with the federal government. Goodluck Enani reports that Edo State is among the 8 states in the country selected for the pilot program.
Beneficiaries of the program wait patiently to receive the good news from the president. The program is in 3 categories. First is the special public works that involves 5,000 beneficiaries. 1,069 were empowered with direct cash banking of free interest loan of 10,000 naira each, while the other category were given various equipment as incentives.
Thank God I have qualified and I was given this for organizing the machine.
I'm so grateful. May God continue to bless our president. I be a trade woman. I want to put on job money trade.
Job creation for the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration is top priority to ensure citizens are self-reliant. There is a conscious effort to reach people at the grassroots.
This president, as much as he's concerned about the rich also, is also very concerned about how to reach the very bottom of the social ladder.
Edo State is one of the 8 states that was singled out for this program in form of pilot state. What we are bringing to Edo State is about 900 million naira.
Governor Godwin Obaseki is elated by the gesture. He assures the presidency of the state government support to make it succeed.
This is not a program where you just go and sign at the end of the month and take money. If you don't come to work every day, if you don't do a particular assignment, you will not be paid at the end of the month. So we will supervise it very, very strenuously.
The program is to last for 3 months. In Benin, Goodluck Enani, NTA News.
And for some sporting stories, let's now join Kene Imal Budige.